Hiya, this week we're going to be adding to our off-grid water filtration system. The pump that we use for our water filtration system is actually a borehole pump. If you've seen our video on our borehole, you'll know that it was a complete disaster, but we'd already invested in the pump, and that meant we had to change how we used it to try and find an alternative way of making it work. So the pump is actually situated in one of our tanks. So the rainwater comes off the roof into the tanks, and in one of those tanks is the borehole pump. The pump then pumps the water through the filtration system and to our house. So what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be adding another pipe from the building where the filtration system is held to out by the Polytunnel, which you can see behind me here. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to tie in another job that desperately needs doing, and that is dealing with the mud that's outside our house. So there has been a huge amount of rain recently and the mud has got unbearable, and I'm not somebody who is particularly house proud, but even for me it's got to a point where it's too much, especially when you've got four people, 2 adults and 2 dogs as well. It's just a complete nightmare. So when the trench has been dug and the pipe has been laid, we're going to use a membrane to cover a lot of the area, and then we're going to wood chip it. The reason we're not using hardcore is we don't want anything particularly permanent in that area. We want to be able to strip it away and for there to be no long-lasting effects afterwards. So today we're going to show you the borehole pump. We're going to show you how we get on with adding to the filtration system, and and getting that membrane down and making the area just that little bit more livable. If you'd like to know more about our off-grid life, please consider subscribing, as we've got lots of videos about our solar power system, our water filtration system and our off-grid life in general, including our new polytunnel and our move to become more self-sufficient with our food.
Right, so this is our GRUNDFOS borehole pump, and it's really good. We've had it for a lot of years now, and it was originally for a borehole, but it didn't work out, so that lives in here, and I think it's actually the smaller of the range. This is the SQE range. It's brilliant. It says the head height, so I think the H is there for 54 metres, so it pumps 54 metres, so our borehole was 20 metres deep. So depending on what borehole you have, you can go up a few stages and get the more powerful pump, but this does an unbelievable amount. It pushes water all around this land. Got 4.5 acres and it will move it. We've got a 32mm water pipe. Yeah, it's a really good bit of kit. I think it's a 3-stage pump, and it pulls the water in from this grilled area here. But yeah, it's really good. We're going to dig a shallow well, and we're thinking about getting another one of these, although they are very expensive, just to pump water into a tank. It is a bit of an expense to do that. I've got to work out whether that's what we want to actually do, but you know, it's been so reliable, you know, we don't want to risk getting something that's rubbish. Basically, it doesn't have to be 12-volt pumps and things like that, is what I'm trying to say. When you're off grid, you can have a real decent pump, and it's better than your mains pressure. We've got a pressure tank as well, so there's no lag of pressure, and you can get larger pressure tanks for it, so this isn't doing as much work. It can top a pressure tank up, and it uses a lot of that pressure before this then kicks in. It can use a fair bit in the pressure tank. It does say somewhere along here what it'll actually push, litres per minute and things like that, but this grill has been put over here. So when I actually ordered this only actually comes with like a 1.5 meters of cable, and you have to ask the company to put what size cable you want on it. Depends on what size well you've got or where you've got to run the cable off of it. So I can't remember how much I got. I've got too much because I had a 20-meter well that I'm not now using, but you know, it's good to have a bit more, as long as you're not going over the wire capacity. These people know how to do it and what it'll take. Otherwise you'll have to perhaps get they'll put a thicker wire on it and it'll cost you a bit more money, but this is what we've got, and they do it for you. The company, it was Anchor Pumps, I think we got this from. So that just stays under there until we get a decent tank, which I've been trying to order up, and no doubt the price is going to go up because of oil and God knows what, so I've been trying to order that up. So this is a little unit that we use that works with the pump, CU301, and it's not on at the moment. I've had the power off to that pump, so put that back on. We're on 3.5 bar there, and there's our little pressure tank, and then there's a little sensor down there as well. So that's it. That lot you can buy together, and works brilliantly, and it's very, very easy to install. I told Rachel it had to get worse before it gets better. Definitely looks worse. But we needed a big sort of tidy up, was the idea. And I wanted to put water to the polytunnel, and I wanted to have it not just on a silly little hose pipe that a dog might chew, actually bury it and have a few taps out there to water in front of the polytunnel and the polytunnel. It's been a long day, a bit of a rush really, and the digger was a bit of a letdown. It was a multitude of problems with it. So we are, got to backfill that, and hopefully have a sort of a standpipe of some sort here, or a few taps off of it, and then I can run into the polytunnel. Right, I know the way I'm doing this might look odd. If it was dry, I would run that little dumper towards the end, dump at the end and work my way back. But I'm sinking in the membrane that I put down, so and that wood chip distributes the weight surprisingly well. So before someone says, oh, you know, oh, that's the wrong way to do it, this is the way I'm doing it because it's wet. Right, so I've got a path in now, That's one of the worst things about living like this, and you hear it from people that build their own houses and they end up living in a mobile home for a while they're building, is the mud. Winter, most people say that's the worst thing about it, let alone the stress of actual building. It's the mud, being in mud all the time, your house being full of mud. You can't go out anywhere without having mud on you. The car's got mud all over it. You know, you've got big dogs running in and out and they're all muddy. And especially when you take on doing something like putting in that pipe, and then all it does afterwards is rain, and while we're digging it. So it's been pretty miserable. But we've got our pipe in now. So there's our pipe, and it's got a cap on it. I've just got to take these logs out of the way, drill a hole through there, because this is just a false log store. All it is behind there is it's our water filtration. There's a generator in there, and it's a bit of a utility room and stuff. So I can connect that up before it gets to the filters. That'll get connected up, and I've got to alter things in there. So that'll be the next job. That'll be next weekend. So yeah, I mean, it would be lovely to, they say, give up the rat race and pick your days, you know, be able to work in nice weather. It doesn't happen when you're working full time. You have to just, if it's a horrible day and you're off, you end up, just have to get on with it really, otherwise you'd never get anything done. And I need my good days for my job as well. So the weather's a problem, but it would be lovely. I mean, if people can do the off-grid thing and actually not have to go to work, wouldn't that be wonderful?